It is David Coburn.
Im Rücken.
Thank you, Mr. President, and Mr. Moscovici. According to football leaks, a lot of top football players allegedly use tax constructions in the British Virgin Islands. In British culture, companies and individuals exist to create wealth for themselves, not solely to pay taxes to voracious, money-squandering state bureaucrats to finance their gilded pensions. Tax competition creates efficiency, and that is a good thing. Question, sir. Is this form of tax optimisation, according to the EU Commission, automatically illegal, evasion or avoidance? Sometimes these constructions are for commercially sensitive information, or perhaps the footballers may be worried about kidnapping families, all that sort of thing. That happens. 2. What will the EU undertake? Will the EU undertake against this kind of tax evasion routes in the future, bearing in mind the UK and any control it will have over the British Virgin Islands will no longer be part of the EU and no longer be bound by EU legislation? I think there's a degree of hypocrisy in this room. According to Eurodad report, secret tax deals between Luxembourg and multinationals have increased dramatically since LuxLeaks in 2014, and this is despite a Luxembourger being in charge of the European Union. Belgium's sweetheart deals with multinationals have apparently risen. I couldn't believe this figure, but it seems to be there. 248% since then. That is an enormous amount. So there seems to be a lot of hypocrisy. I don't know why Britain is criticised. We just believe in free enterprise. We don't believe in your Euro-socialism. We believe free enterprise, lower taxes, and we believe in tax competition to make sure people, the governments do not squander taxpayers' hard-earned income.
Herr Kollege, das waren über...
Colleague, you spoke for more than 2 minutes, which means you won't get a very long answer to your question.
Now, obviously, these revelations over the weekend clearly show that we need joint action for taxation purposes throughout the world. I love football as a sport, as a game. This doesn't mean that we cannot, however, have a critical view of the economics of football. We can only take things that far to have a complete caricature of what footballers are supposed to be, what they're supposed to be making. We got to be quite clear about this, because football is what it is, and we must make sure that states who are doing so much in order to put some sanity into the football world will continue to do so, even though obviously there will be some footballers who will always try and dodge the law. But what are we to do about this? Very often these are very young people we're talking about, not mature enough. And behind all this, there's a whole business economy related to football, oriented towards tax evasion. I'm not pointing a finger at anybody. This is not what I'm doing. However, there is a big problem there, and obviously the Commission is quite aware of the role played by all kinds of people in this tax evasion problems. This is why we need a public consultation, I repeat, on this very wide subject, a wide-ranging subject of not just bank secrecy, the use of tax havens. These are areas in which we're working, obviously, and we've been working very strongly and significantly over the past few years. Now, obviously, paying taxes is the basis of our society.
Unlawfully hiding revenues in other countries because expensive lawyers suggested so is not fair. Finally, about British Virgin Islands, I'm not going to comment on any one jurisdiction in particular. This would undermine the fair and neutral approach that we want to take with the EU list. As in every other policy area, Brexit will raise questions and challenges in tax policy at EU as well as international level. However, the UK has been a very active player, I repeat that, in the international work on tax good governance up to now, and I hope it will go on until the Brexit in the framework of the EU, and after the Brexit in the framework of G20 or G7, because the United Kingdom will remain a strong partner. As I used to say, UK will not be anymore, because the British voter shows that, a member of the EU. It will be a European country.